We will send 10 of our finest soldiers to pursue the Winter Soldier in combat scenario, fully monitored. Only one shall emerge. Quote, Colossus, the Maker's Council and their ultimate weapon. Colossus, Omega Red, and Magik put the ultimate Wolverine to the test by seeing how well he handles the opposition. A group fighting for mutant liberation. Ultimate Wolverine, Volume 1, Issue 2. A diabolical genius known as the Maker used time travel to create his ideal Earth by systematically preventing anyone from ever becoming a superhero and by establishing a secret council of supervillains, the Maker's Council, that rules the world from the shadows. The Eurasian Republic ruled with an iron fist by the ruthless triad of Pieter Rasputin, Colossus, his sister Ilyana Rasputin, Magik, and Arkady Rosevich, Omega Red, has become one of the two places in the world for all known mutant activity. The trio have created Directorate X, a secret division of the government that seeks to exploit the unique genetic powers exhibited in mutant kind, headed by Dr. Alona Prastovic. At the center of Directorate X is the Winter Soldier, a powerful mutant reprogrammed to serve as the Republic's most lethal weapon against the opposition, a covert group that seeks to free mutants from experimentation and Republic control. 30 years ago in the North American Union at the Weapon X program, Professor Truett Hudson said, "My Purpose Weapons project has been postponed once again, pending further analysis. Bureaucrats, still, our initial findings have yielded results that may be useful. Though our first adamantium-infused subject, Weapon Alpha, died within minutes of the procedure, my small but devoted staff and I have discovered a remarkable number of individuals with the abilities beyond our own living among us in secret. Mutants, so-called, the rumored Homo superior, are potential subjects. Some of these individuals have the ability to heal themselves. Others possess supernatural heightened agility. We do not yet know their full potential. With pending approval from the Department of..." Professor Hudson is abruptly interrupted by the ominous entrance of the Maker. On the wall, photos of key individuals are displayed. Wolverine, Logan, Sabretooth, Victor Creed, Maverick, Christopher Nord, and John Rath. The Maker interrupts Professor Hudson by clapping slowly, the sound echoing through the room. "Very good, Professor," the Maker says. Startled, Professor Hudson looks around. "Who's that? Who's there?" The Maker steps forward, his voice calm yet unsettling. "I am but a simple man in search of a better world." Hudson shakes his head. "There's no such thing as a perfect world." The Maker smirks. "Not perfect, Professor. Better." Truett Hudson, the first son of Frederick McDonald Hudson, was a civilian advisor to the U.S. Army in 1945, operating under the nickname Professor Thornton or Professor Thornton. During that time, while searching for scientific information in a Nazi concentration camp, Hudson accidentally stumbled upon Nathaniel Essex's secret laboratory. Elaborating on Essex's experiments, the U.S. government initiated a classified program designed to create super soldiers for military use, recruiting Hudson into an infamous Weapons Plus program. Professor Hudson says, "What are you doing here? No one's supposed to be here, and I've never seen you before. What's your clearance?" The Maker smirks, and as Mr. Hudson reaches for his gun, he says, "Clearance? This is my clearance." In one shift moment, the Maker drives his finger through Hudson's mouth and out of the back of the head, killing him instantly. The Maker says, "You see, Professor, I'm making this a better world, and a better world is one that you are not in." He lights a fire, burning the professor's body, all of his research, and eliminating anyone who knew about the Weapons Plus program. Who is the Maker? He comes from a reality that no longer exists, but his goal is to transform this reality into that one. That's why he travels through the time stream, making changes. At the end of Jonathan Hickman's new Ultimate Universe miniseries, the Maker was defeated, but his defeat was not his death. The major event we've been anticipating is set to occur in a year and a half, when the Maker reemerges and launches an attack against the entirety of the Earth. What he plans to do remains unclear, as does what he has been doing in the meantime. He is for now locked away in a massive city-like containment unit, waiting for the chance to strike. We pick up with a group of 10 heavily armed soldiers in Eurasia, walking cautiously through the snowy woods. They are tracking someone and notice footprints in the snow. One of the soldiers signals for a group to hold up and remain quiet. Suddenly, one soldier looks up at the trees and shouts, "They're up there, but it's only one specimen." Before anyone can react, the Winter Soldier leaps from the trees and into battle, killing one of the soldiers instantly. Colossus questions. And what if someone else gets into the puppet brain of his? What then? Dr. Alona Prostovich responds. Impossible. Make no mistake, leaders, Rasputin and Rasovich, he is ours. Magik interjects. How can you be so sure? We are not the only ones with telepaths at our disposal. Perhaps the project should be terminated. Dr. Prostovich counters. Terminated? You've already sent him on foreign missions, 4 successful missions. The opposition's trailing leaders have been eliminated, and he's taken out several top operatives just last month on our western border alone. Magik replies coldly. Successful missions are a dime a dozen, Dr. Prostovich, just like your other creations. Dr. Prostovich defends herself. I am tasked with a certain directive, and I accomplish it. I fail to understand why I'm defending myself to you. Magik presses further. He has no memories. You said this time and time again. But how do you explain what happens when your little winter soldier sleeps? Oh, you didn't think I knew? Well, perhaps it's time we check on your project to see for ourselves how well he's doing. After each mission, the telepath wipes out all of the winter soldier's memories, but he still dreams. Magik teleports everyone to the location where the winter soldier is. Magik says, perfect. The specimen is suffering a nightmare as we speak. Dr. Alona Prostovich interrupts. Excuse me, but as with any normal being, this is a regenerative cycle, restorative. He is dreaming. Would I prefer him to be inert? Yes, of course. But this is not an exact science. It takes time and testing. He is mostly docile while awake. He obeys. Colossal snaps. Remove this specimen. I want to inspect it myself. Dr. Prostovich hesitates. Leader, he is in stasis. To rip him out suddenly would be potentially disastrous. Colossal grabs the doctor by the throat, cutting her off. Do not underestimate how disposable you are, Doctor. Remove this specimen now. Dr. Prostovich, choking slightly, responds, yes, leader. The door opens and smoke pours out. Dr. Alona says, okay, vitals are reading normal. As the winter soldier steps out of his cage, the doctor continues. He responds to verbal commands when prefaced with his designation. Otherwise, he may react, let's say poorly. Colossal cuts her off sharply. Dr. Prostovich, do not dictate how I may interact with my own property. I know how to handle creatures like this. It's not with verbal commands. Without hesitation, Colossal grabs the winter soldier by the neck. Colossal says, creatures like this, men like this, they understand violence. They respect it because unlike you, men like this know there is no such thing as safe. Every second of existence, there is someone or something trying to take from you. And men like this, they know that men like me stand in their way. If you don't crush them, if you don't show them your power, your true power, they will resist. It is inevitable, Doctor. After all, he has done so before. So we will reinforce this lesson. The winter soldier's rightful place is under our heel. With that, Colossal hurls the winter soldier across the room by his neck. Dr. Alona looks on in disbelief. Colossal says, I think we should like to see the winter soldier in action. No more reports. We want to see for ourselves. Colossal turns to Ileana and Arcady, asking, are we in agreement? Magik replies, yes, a test. Dr. Prostovich should like that. She loves her test. Omega grins. Excellent. Colossal continues, we will send 10 of our finest soldiers pursue the winter soldier in a combat scenario fully monitored. Only one shall emerge. This will not only be a test for your subject, but for you, Doctor. Fail, and we shall revise your relationship with Director X. Dr. Logan stiffens and replies, yes, leader. As the men are sent to chase the winter soldier, it is clear that the mission is nothing more than a test to observe how he reacts. Later, Dr. Alona approaches the specimen and murmurs, thank God they're gone. What a mess. She leans closer to the winter soldier and says, come, winter soldier, you have a new mission ahead of you. Her voice betraying subtle, conflicted feelings for him. We return to the winter soldier's test as machine guns rattle relentlessly, bullets tearing through the snowy air. There were 10 soldiers, but now there are 9. One soldier's eyes and flesh have been ripped apart, or rather carved up with precision. One of the remaining soldiers shouts, hold your fire. They begin to question, is this the opposition? Who's out there? Did anyone get a good look at him? Not them, him. He's one man, and he didn't look like the opposition. The 9 soldiers move cautiously through the terrain, trudging through the snow and crossing a narrow bridge. One soldier breaks the silence. It's got to be the opposition. I thought I saw him. He looked like it. Sounds silly, but my babushka used to tell stories when I was little about a creature in the wood, Leshe, the forest spirit. If you disturb the forest, it attacks back. Another soldier chimes in. I saw it too. Just for a second, it was running like an animal on all 4s like a demon. What the hell are you dealing with? A third soldier speaks with dread. It's not a a demon or a forest spirit. It's no monster. It's the Winter Soldier. The soldiers continue their tense conversation. One mutters, "That's a myth." Another replies, "Did a myth slice Komorovit's face off?" If that's true, myths are getting pretty dangerous these days. A third soldier interjects, "But I thought the rumors said the Winter Soldier was one of ours, a tool of the Eurasian Republic leadership." A young soldier adds, "Maybe he is." Another soldier questions, "Then why is he hurting us?" The response comes quickly, "Perhaps you should be asking why you're hurting him. If he is one of us, then the only reason we're here is we're just practice, and they're filming us." Why? The soldiers scan the arena from above, their eyes darting everywhere, searching for any sign of movement. From the shadows of the forest, two piercing eyes emerge. It's the Winter Soldier. Before the soldiers can turn to see who is behind them, one says, "So remember this, comrade. It's him or us, and it's us. We better put on a good show." Suddenly the claws extend, glinting in the dim light. The soldiers freeze, their faces filled with shock. The soldiers scream, their terror echoing through the frozen wilderness, but they are no match for the Winter Soldier. Cameras recorded the entire brutal encounter, capturing every movement. In the end, it isn't even close. The Winter Soldier has 9 severed heads. The Winter Soldier walks away unfazed through the desolate tundra. The Winter Soldier approaches one of the cameras, lenses in close, and glares directly into the lens. He draws his claws and slashes the camera, destroying it in an instant. Watching the footage, Colossus looks on, while Dr. Alona quietly remarks, "Yes, it is a beautiful indeed." It is fair to say that Wolverine does not have full control of his faculties, but he is resisting. He doesn't understand what's going on here, and he's not a mindless beast, which begs the question, will the time come when he launches a full attack against Colossus, Omega Red, and Magik? If that time does come, what happens next? Does Wolverine continue to go after and kill more of the Resistance? We will see next in Ultimate Wolverine Volume 1, Issue 3.